Have you noticed that getting attention online isn't nearly as hard as it used to be? But getting people to actually trust you feels much harder? Because right now, businesses can reach more people than ever before. They can run ads, create content, use AI tools, post across multiple platforms, generate endless marketing material in just a few minutes. And yet, many businesses are discovering something surprising. Attention is getting easier to buy, but trust is getting harder to earn. And honestly, this may be one of the biggest marketing shifts happening right now. Because audiences are being exposed to more information, more opinions, more advertisements, more creators, and more AI-generated content than at any other point in history. Which means people are becoming much more careful about who they believe, much more careful about who they follow, and much more selective about which businesses they trust. Because when information becomes unlimited, trust becomes scarce. And this is exactly why many traditional marketing strategies are becoming less effective than they used to be. Because visibility alone no longer creates credibility. And the businesses that understand that shift early may have a massive advantage over the next few years. One of the biggest changes happening online right now is that people are becoming far more skeptical than they used to be. And honestly, it's not difficult to understand why. Every day, audiences are exposed to thousands of messages competing for their attention. Advertisements, marketing campaigns, influencers, AI-generated content, news stories, expert opinions, product recommendations. Everyone is trying to convince them of something, which means people are naturally becoming much more cautious about what they believe and who they trust. Because the challenge today is no longer finding information. The challenge is deciding which information deserves attention. And this is where many businesses are missing what is really happening. They think the competition is for visibility, but increasingly, the competition is for credibility. Because audiences are learning to filter information much faster than before. They skip exaggerated claims. They ignore generic messaging. They question promotional content. And they pay much closer attention to signals that feel authentic and trustworthy. And honestly, this is why some businesses with huge reach still struggle to create meaningful influence. Because attention can be rented, but trust has to be earned. And in a world where information is becoming cheaper and easier to create every day, credibility may become one of the most valuable assets a business can build. And honestly, this is where trust becomes much more than a branding concept. It becomes a competitive advantage. Because when people trust a business, a creator, or a brand, something very important happens. Decision-making becomes easier. People spend less time questioning, less time comparing, less time looking for alternatives. Because trust reduces uncertainty. And uncertainty is one of the biggest barriers to action online today. Think about it. When audiences trust a source, they are more likely to watch longer, engage more, return again, recommend it to others, and eventually buy when the timing feels right. Not because they were pressured, but because confidence already exists. And honestly, this is why some brands seem to grow faster even when they are posting less content or spending less on advertising. Because trust compounds. Every positive interaction strengthens the next one. Every useful piece of content builds familiarity. Every promise that gets delivered builds credibility. And over time, that creates something many competitors struggle to replicate: a trusted reputation. Because while attention can disappear overnight, trust tends to accumulate over time. And honestly, this may be one of the biggest shifts businesses need to understand moving forward. The future advantage may not belong to the brands with the biggest audience. It may belong to the brands with the most trusted audience. Because trust turns attention into loyalty. And loyalty is far more difficult for competitors to copy. For years, digital marketing was heavily focused on one goal: get more reach, more impressions, more views, more traffic, more followers. And while reach is still important, reach by itself is no longer creating the same advantage it once did. Because visibility does not automatically create belief. And honestly, this is where many businesses still get stuck. They celebrate attention. But attention and trust are not the same thing. Someone can see your content and forget it. See your advertisement and ignore it. Visit your website and leave. Follow your page and never engage again. Because visibility creates awareness. But trust creates action. And this is exactly why some businesses with smaller audiences often outperform businesses with much larger audiences. Because their audience believes them. Their audience listens. Their audience returns. And over time, that trust creates stronger engagement, stronger loyalty, stronger referrals, and stronger long-term growth. Because attention may get people to notice you. But trust is what gives people a reason to stay. And honestly, in an internet filled with noise, algorithms, and endless content, that difference may become one of the most valuable advantages a brand can build. So no, the biggest advantage in marketing may not be better technology, bigger budgets, or even more content. It may be trust. Because as AI continues making information easier to create, audiences will naturally become more selective about who they listen to and who they believe. And honestly, that makes trust one of the few advantages that becomes more valuable as the internet becomes more crowded. Because people may forget advertisements, they may forget content, but they rarely forget the brands, creators, and businesses they genuinely trust. And that's exactly why the future of marketing may belong to the businesses that focus less on chasing attention and more on earning confidence. We break down digital marketing shifts, branding psychology, AI trends, and audience behavior like this regularly on the channel. And if you want deeper strategy breakdowns around trust, visibility, branding, and the future of marketing, check out the longer videos already available on the channel. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you found it helpful, and share with ones who you think get help from it. Take care and see you on next video. Thanks for watching. Bye!